All right, everyone. So my name's Ramine. I'm part of DeepMind. We actually just set up office here in Singapore in November, and the team is growing. But I want to talk a little bit today about some of the work that we're doing in the science space. So probably most of you know DeepMind or Google for Gemini. I'm not going to talk about Gemini too much today. I'm going to talk a little bit about our science portfolio, and then hopefully you folks can get your phones out, because I'm going to have a QR code at the end, so I'm preparing you all to share a little bit about what we're doing to help the climate and to help the environment in APAC. So let's see if we go forward. I did. Okay. So everyone's probably seen an image on the left here or right here, depending on where you're looking, which is the kind of invention of the machine and that kind of industrial revolution where we accelerated what we could do productivity-wise because we had the access to machines to help us scale what we did. And in the era today that we're in, we also have these beautiful devices which we use to help us improve productivity. And the amazing things with these devices, as we all know, is that they produce data which we can then build models with, which to help us incrementally improve and become more productive. And that data, obviously, is super relevant to helping us solve different problem statements in different domains. But what I want to talk about is how we actually take that data and make it useful for the worlds that we need to solve in the science space. Before we get there, does anyone have a clue what this combinatorial problem that I'm showing is? Anyone? Oh, I got one. That's an excellent. Good start. Okay, this is the combinatorial problem of solving the game of Go. So if anyone, I saw someone said yes, I was right. If anyone knows what the game of Go is, it's the famous game that we play typically in this part of the world, and it's a very hard game to play. I can't play it. I've tried, and I failed like drastically bad. The problem here has more kind of combinatorial outcomes than atoms that have in the universe. And when DeepMind kind of first set up, what we really cared about is, could we solve this? Because if we could solve this without the data that I showed you on the right, all that exponential data, then maybe we could solve a whole bunch of other problems in the world. And the good thing is, we did beat the best Go player, or pretty much the best Go player, nearly 10 years ago, or just over 10 years ago, Lisa Do in Korea, and that was called AlphaGo. And that really is the foundation of where we are and what we focus on in Google DeepMind. We focus on solving root node problems, and those root node problems effectively unlock a whole umbrella of other problems in the world, whether it's in the material space, in the health space, in the life sciences space, or in the lovely things that you use like Gemini. Now, what has that actually led to? So, who knows Transformers? I'm pretty sure I'm going to get more hands up this time. Great. Foundation for a lot of the large language models and other frontier models we use. It's nothing more than an architecture and a pattern or a blueprint that we use to design our systems to be able to train a model. And subsequent to there, we had a whole bunch of breakthroughs in this space of using that foundation, using the techniques that we learned in AlphaGo, and then collecting all of that incredible data and using it to train these fantastic models which we use today. So that's great. What does that actually mean? I think there's not one keynote without a video, so I promised everyone one video as we do this. So I'll just show you the latest and greatest that we have, called Gemini Omni. Music's too good. So if anyone wants to learn more, go look at the latest I/O kind of videos. You can learn all about it, the ability to give anything in, get anything out. It's an incredible system. So let's talk about what we're really here for today is AI for science. As I mentioned, Gemini is one part of the broad umbrella of work that we do in DeepMind. And DeepMind, starting from solving those root node problems, really cares about thinking about how do we help transform the world that we live in a positive way? How can we effectively help transform different sectors of the industry using the techniques that we've kind of foundation built on from Gemini and other systems? Now, how many of you are researchers here in the scientific field? And I'm assuming this number's probably a bit right. About 45% of you will use some tooling. Maybe it's to help you transcribe some of the documents that you're reading. Maybe it's a bit of summarization. Maybe some of you are early-stage career researchers or postdocs, and you don't want to do another literature review, so you use these tools to help you out. About half of people are using these tools. And what we're trying to do in DeepMind is enhance all of those workflows that you do in science to make your work more productive, more efficient, moving from idea all the way to experimentation to actually building the actual outcome, whether it's a product, whether it's the research paper, whether it's spinning off a new startup to solve the latest crises in the world. And as part of that, we care across a whole broad spectrum of things in DeepMind. I'm going to go into a couple of these in a minute, but we care from biology all the way to geospatial intelligence. And one of the underlying pillars that we've been trying to enable, which I'll show you in a bit as well, is around how do we use agents in this domain to help it easier for whether you have a domain expertise or not to engage with the services that we've been building. And I'm going to show you a little bit of our work in anti-gravity in a bit, what that looks like. So let me just give you a couple of examples of the work that we've been effectively solving and the areas we've been investing in. So who's heard of WeatherNext 2? Who knew that we had a weather forecasting model in DeepMind that's available via Google Cloud as an API? Okay, it's good. Some people are learning then today. So WeatherNext 2 is effectively a meteorological or a forecasting model for weather. And the idea is to take or effectively advance the traditional forecasting models with a frontier model instead. And there's a whole bunch of case studies around this, but the idea here is that we can forecast more accurately at a more granular level, which is extremely important when you're trying to do disaster preparation for areas in the world where we see extreme weathers, things like cyclones or hurricanes. And we have a really great case study a couple of years ago where the hurricanes in the US was coming. We took the traditional forecasting model, which is used to be able to detect the pathway for a hurricane and cyclones, and we demonstrated that we could create a far more accurate forecast to both the geographic zoning and also the timing of it to be able to help disaster response, effectively organizations prepare for themselves. Really great example of how we can take foundation techniques, apply it into the forecasting world of weather, and advance that state of the art. The second one, which is probably the most famous, is AlphaFold. Who's heard of AlphaFold? Okay, excellent. AlphaFold in DeepMind was the breakthrough in the protein folding problem, where Demis and the team effectively got a Nobel Prize from this, and they solved the problem as where you can take amino acid chains and predict the folded protein structure from it. Sounds very abstract, like how do I use this? Well, you can use it for a whole variety of different kind of problem statements. Some is for vaccine creation, some is to solve disease, so understanding the structure of disease and how you can intervene in that disease propagation. And AlphaFold has been used by over 3 million researchers in the world as of today. So it's an absolute phenomenal service that is free and open to use for researchers for non-commercial purposes. And it's being embedded in a lot of the research to understand about crop resiliency, to understand things around disease. And as we'll see later on, you use it for a whole different types of use cases to understand the next generation of kind of materials. And materials is genome, which is the evolution of where we've been working. I had just a side conversation just before I came onto the stage actually around how do we create more resilient materials to help us build more sustainable kind of infrastructure. And a lot of the work that we're doing in this GNOME or GNOME, depending on how you want to pronounce it, is all around how can we help discover thousands of new materials for the purpose of creating more resilient and robust and more productive infrastructure in the world. The other one I just want to quickly talk about, and then I'm going to rush on to the next topic, is around our work that we do also in the robotics and the simulation space. If you do want to check this out, type in Genie. You can see some of the work that we're doing in creating virtual world models or virtual worlds. And in there, we can start to do things around simulation. And simulation is really great to be able to simulate real-world interaction before you do things in the real world. And also then look at the work that we're doing with RT2, in the robotic space. So just a quick one. As I mentioned, a lot of the work that we do is very domain-driven, and it's actually very difficult to get involved in this unless you're a very deep, scientist in that specific domain. If you're a molecular biologist, you're probably going to know your stuff very well, but if you're not, it's going to be very hard to engage with these tools. So one of the things that we've been doing is taking anti-gravity, which is our agentic coding IDE. Whoever's used it, hopefully you've been enjoying some of the functionality, and we've been enhancing it with these things that allow you skills to allow you to interact with those various models in the scientific domain. They're called the anti-gravity skills, or Gemini for science. You can look up as well. And they give you the access and create that level of abstraction to allow you to interact with these tools like AlphaFold or GNOME, or even some other very bespoke services which are available to allow you to do things which maybe your domain level of expertise doesn't allow you to in its current state. Okay, so on to the final thing where we will have a QR code. So hopefully people's going to get their phones ready. As I mentioned, all of the research that we do, the whole purpose is to create a better world for tomorrow than we are today. That's really why we're doing the things we do. Everyone obviously wants to make money, but imagine if we can create for the next generation a much better environment, a much better living condition, quality of life. And one of the things that we've identified in this region is there are serious numbers of severe problems, whether it's in the ecology, whether it's in the vulnerability in kind of urban disasters, whether it's in food security, making sure that we have enough food in all various parts of the world to sustain the population and the growth that we need. And all of these challenges need to be solved. And we believe in this region there is a lot of brains and there is a lot of energy to be able to solve these challenges. So one of the things we've done, it's just been launched, and we are going to continue to run this program, hopefully, over the years. But first, let's do the first one, is the DeepMind Accelerator. It's called AI for the Planet. And what we're doing is we're taking all of our tools and expertise in DeepMind and working with folks in the ecosystem to come together to submit their proposals for solving some of those societal and sustainability-related challenges, and hopefully try and build something to make a difference. We're here to enable you, and we're going to be enabling you through both the talent that we have, some of the models that we have, and also some of the underlying compute services that are going to help you scale the technologies that you potentially may be needing or will need to develop. The idea here is to bring together budding engineers, researchers, and hopefully funders or those that want to invest in this space to really try and make a difference. As I promised, one QR code. So please do take a screenshot if you're interested. 3, 2, 1. Don't worry, I'm sure they can send it again or someone will share it. But again, I just want to say, with 11 seconds left, I do believe if we use AI responsibly and we build on it responsibly, we are going to develop a world which is much better than we are today. And hopefully we continue the success we see in this space for us technologists and also those that are not technologists for the future to come. So thank you, guys. I stuck to my time. And I want to say enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.